Okay. Well, before we go on to our next subject, we have a package where the Yoruba Nation agitators, they were arrested and indeed paraded over the weekend that was. And we have a guest in the studio, Dr. Felix Olonoda, security consultant and CEO, SSV Protection Services Limited. Thank you very much for coming on the program.
Thank you.
Indeed. So, as I said, let's take the package first and then come back to studio and discuss the Yoruba Nation agitators that were arrested and paraded.
It's 3 days after suspected members of the Yoruba Nation secession group invaded the Oyo State Secretariat in Agodi. They attempted to seize power from the government after hoisting their flag. After engaging in a gun battle with security personnel, the suspects were arrested and are now being paraded by the police and are to face prosecution for their actions. The Commissioner of Police described the act as criminal and unpatriotic and assured residents of Oyo the police's unwavering commitment to protecting their lives and property.
While declaring this act as criminal, unpatriotic, and a clear case of treasonable felony and terrorism, to be met with adequate sanctions through purposeful prosecutions, the command reassures the good people of Oyo State that it remains solidly unwavering to the protection of their lives and property as constitutionally required by the laws of the land.
He asked parents to prevail on their children against being used as agents to cause chaos in the state.
As a parent, I enjoy other parents, guardians, and leaders in every sphere of political, religious, and social influence to prevail on their children, words, protests, and followers against being used by unpatriotic individuals to promote anarchy in the state and by extension, the nation.
Alabi Ogundeji, one of the suspects, is a teacher at the Federal Government College, Oyo. For him, there is no going back in the attainment of their independence, as they have the backing of the appropriate international bodies.
We are indigenous people of Yoruba. We are in Yoruba land, and that is why we have done that. And we have done all the legal activities and procedures that need to be done.
So who granted you the sovereignty?
The United Nations, of course, and the Charter of the United Nations, the African Union, the ECOWAS Court, and EU.
Are there documents to support all
Yes,
this?
we have all documents.
This 75-year-old and his daughter said they were introduced to the group with promises of a better life after achieving their so-called independence. Items recovered from the suspects include guns, live cartridges, cutlasses, paraphernalia of various offices with Yoruba Nation inscriptions, among others. Oladio Yewole, TVC News, Ibadan.
Okay, then, that's a refresher video. You saw it earlier. And, these people that were paraded there, they are agitators. They invaded the Oyo State House of Assembly complex located inside the Secretariat, and hoisted their flag. First of all, the policeman who was saying there that this is treasonable felony. Let me ask you, how serious an action is this?
Well, it's serious because how did they get access? Where were they coming from? And for them to be armed and get close to have access to Oyo State Secretariat in the House of Assembly, that says a lot about our intelligence. How do we gather intelligence? How is it possible for them to move? Where are they coming from? But I know that the police are into this and they are going to get to the root of it.
Well, okay, because as you said in the, they are talking about a Yoruba nation, and wanting that to come into fruition.
Yes.
But the way in which they are going about it, I imagine that will leave a lot to be desired. No matter how sympathetic you are to their view, in a civil society, in a sane society, you can't take over anything by force.
By force.
and
violence.
And violence.
Yes.
So this is what we have here. And I dare say it's a cause for concern. But you said it speaks to the level of our intelligence that this happened. They got as far as they got. So they were reacting as opposed to, so there's no intelligence.
So, yes, that means that speaks something about our intelligence gathering and how we process it as a nation. As for security forces, I mean, that will talk to them about what are you doing? How did they get here? Are there no intelligence about them? Because this Yoruba Nation agitation has been going on for a while.
It has?
Yes, and we know that some of our very prominent people from the Southwest are actually, but they are not the people that will be behind violent. We know Professor Akintoye, for example, has been speaking about Yoruba Nation. I know that even I spoke to a friend of mine who is also a professor in the U.S., who is also part of Yoruba Nation, early this morning. And he was telling me that, of course, that is not, of course, as you know, that's not their style. So what is happening? And there will be allegation of people who are behind this.
That is the...
That's also in the out there. Yes.
Okay, because as you said, this Yoruba Nation agitation has been going on for a while. It's not the only one going on in the country. And as much as you, quote unquote, play by the rules, you know, they've been going about their businesses. You know, sometimes they skate very close to the edge, and they, you know, certain actions need to be taken. They withdraw to within safe parameters. But this sort of beats all expectations. Most people would have been shocked because, first of all, what we were shown there by the police, that's hardly enough to do much by, unless it was a ploy to draw attention to their cause. An attention that you've said has always been on it. There are other agitation groups, not just the Yoruba Nation. But this time now, I don't know that this has done their whole movement very many favors.
That's why it should call for concern is that because we are seeing uniform here, we are seeing insignia, we are seeing logos, Yoruba Nation. And so that means a lot of work has gone into this. That means a lot of work has gone into this. A lot of preparation has gone into it, wrongly or rightly. And so that's why I said that should speak to our intelligence forces to know that the uniform, the logo, the signal, the flags, and we all saw that on the social media, unless you want to say we are not seeing them. We have seen the logo, we have seen the flag on social media, Yoruba Nation flag and everywhere, and people on the viral. And so I spoke with someone who, and he said, no, this is not our thing. This is, we know that the leaders of the Yoruba Nation, those who are really ahead, in front of this agitation, you can speak of Professor Akintoye, who is a professor of history, who is once a senator in this country. So, and this is not their own style. What they want to do at the core of Yoruba Nation is true federalism. That's what they are pushing.
Indeed.
Yes.
And okay.
And that has to be constitutionally, you know.
That is something that is going to be dialogued about.
Talked about.
Yes.
Conference, and we talk about it.
So, exactly.
So not by
it's not
bearing arms and violently taking over a constituted government. So that's not the way.
Mr. Oyekon has called in from Ikorodu. Good morning to you, Mr. Oyekon.
Good morning.
Go ahead.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Go ahead now, please.
Yes, please. I want to contribute to your program now. One, I want to give to comment on the guy that comes from Kano. Yes, I want to advise.
No, sir.
Okay,
that segment has gone.
Agitation. You see, all these ones there, they are not a serious human being. And what if they commit is treason? And no government is going to deal with them. But I don't know how they want to go about it. But I beg for leniency for them.
Okay. All right. Indeed. That itself. Thank you very much, Mr. Oyekon, calling from Ikorodu. That in itself points to perhaps the way the larger public views this particular action. he didn't even say a word in their defense. Instead, he said, look, the only thing to say in that kind of a case, it seemed to have, one is even wondering where is the case coming from, who is behind the case, who is sponsoring the case, that particular line of action. But in any case, I just beg for mercy for them. Saying that, that is indicating that there is no, you just can't see what is right about this line of action.
Yes.
You know, and there's a sense in which government has been, would you say government has been lenient? Because yes, the police was saying there that this is a clear case of, it's not even a mutiny, it's a treasonable felony. A mutiny would be if there was a constituted force that now rebels.
Yes.
That is not the case. Reverend Dominic, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Chief Yori. Good morning to your guest.
Yes.
Good morning.
Chief Yori, first of all, I want to commend the armed forces, the police, and every forces that they there, that we did not have bloodshed. Because if you look at the nature of this confrontation, it could have turned to a bloodshed because this people has gone and they came to take forcefully a state government. It is treasonable by felony. So the other side of the force could have come with force. But for them to manage it, we didn't have any death. I commend Nigerian police. Two, these our brothers, I saw a lecture, I'm reading in paper this morning, there was a lecture of education. What kind of education do this man have? That you come to take over that government by force, and you call it agitation. Agitation is not gone by force. Agitation is protest. Agitation is dialogue. Agitation is saying, I don't believe this. Look at what I believe. It's not by gun. You came with a signal, your uniform, your flag, your cheers already, logoed with their government. What do you call this? And I want to say this. Nigeria must rise up to call spade a spade. This is how IPOP started in Southeast. Most of us cry about it. We become enemy of Igbos. That this will take us to where we're not planned to. Today in the Southeast, it is a war zone, an Igbo against an Igbo. We must stop this now. We must quench this now. We must fish out people who sponsor this. Somebody bought the chair. Somebody bought the signals. Somebody sold the uniform. Somebody bought the gun. We must fish them out now. This is how Boko Haram started. But in Nigeria, which I belong to, we don't, we always react. We don't stop things where it's going. This is a cancer. We must stop it now because it becomes related. Good morning, sir.
Thank you very much for calling in, Reverend Dominic. And that is indeed the point that has been made by Dr. Oloruda. Yes. There are people behind this.
Yes. So,
if the first level of failure of intelligence was that they managed to gain access into, the secretariat.
The restricted areas.
And then hoist a flag.
Yeah.
Are there no security people around there or whatever? But now that it has gotten as bad as that, the police have stepped in, they were reacting. The next level is to probably try and understand who are those behind this. And because clearly a lot of money was spent. You saw those chairs looking like executive chairs, and money has been spent on, I don't know if you people call those one pump action guns, or there were some cartridges in there. So it's a very, very serious, very, very serious affair.
Well, the security community may not view it that seriously, as have the military before. Mm-hmm. So when you look at, when you evaluate the whole of their action, you know that it's not something that can cause any severe damage.
Yes, I mean,
they can't take over any government by that preparation. By
this,
I think it's just to put the agitation maybe in their own understanding, to make it more, to make a statement.
And these people,
maybe it after they've been on social media now, we can see that they've done something, and now so government can now begin to say, okay, we'll not just allow this to lie low anymore, okay? Because we've been seeing it on social media, the noise and there. Now they have taken a step forward. So now
they've come on
to say, okay,
terrestrial media as well.
So now
they have videos on television.
Okay, we have to now get to the root of this.
Maybe that was part of their ploy because it has been on social media. Nobody paid attention.
They were just doing their thing, and everybody was. Now they have taken a step forward.
Yeah. And now
we have seen the uniform in action with guns. So now, government will now say, okay,
we have seen you.
We have seen you. So let's get to the root of.
Let's take the next step. Mr. George, good morning. Thank you for calling in again.
Thank you, Uncle Yori. Uncle Yori, I am totally in support of Reverend Dominic on this. If you look at the materials that these boys presented, you see that a lot of work had been done before they came to the open. The government must nip this in the bud. I am aware of some agitators in the Southwest who are asking for Yoruba nation. They are enlightened people. They are not, it's not about violence. These ones look like a sponsored group by some disgruntled elements. The government must use them to, lay an example for others to see. I don't support the man that called that they should give them any clemency. They should be given the full punishment that this offense deserves. That is the only way it can be stemmed in other regions of this country. We have had enough of insecurity, Uncle Yori.
Indeed.
Good morning.
Good morning. Because very much as George says, you said it earlier, there are those who are agitating, they are going about it in an enlightened sort of way. It would appear that this group, dare I say it, would be trying to ride on the back of that and come up with this action and hope that it will also be seen as part of the Yoruba nation agitation. But I don't know that the professors, the respected professors, and all those other eminent people that see merit in the case that they are making, but certainly not in this method. I don't know, and perhaps because of that, the person who called in and was asking for clemency or mercy, just as Mr. George has said, to what extent can the government afford to do that, lest it has these kind of actions just mushrooming all over the place?
I think the government will want to use this one to serve as a deterrence to other groups, because I don't think government will want to subject them to the full role of the law so that they can go through the whole gamut to kind of have their defense. And I think we must also know that there's nothing wrong with agitation. It's just that when you don't go about it the right way.
Exactly. And when
agitation is part of our way of ventilating. And I know that at the core of our Yoruba nation agitation or Yoruba nation agitation is that they want true federalism. They want the Southwest to be able to. And now that has changed because that was loud before the advent of this current administration. And now that we have someone from the Southwest as the president of the nation, even the agitation too has taken so because most of the who are agitating for that are now with the present government. So that force is no longer as strong as it was. So now for this group to now come and proclaim that, we are this, we are that, I'm sure they are not going to have the support. Like I said, I spoke with a friend of mine who was...
It's an illegality.
He said, no, this is not,
it's clearly
not part of what we are advocating for.
It's clearly...
Basically, these people have a different mission entirely.
Mazi Okoroafo, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, I guess. When I saw this big clip over the weekend, I was laughing. What was that people? I was laughing. What do they want for now? All these young boys, I know. These are the young men that the elders will tell you the future belongs to you. And they are now coming out to work as agitators. Now, who sent them? The people that sent them, what was their manifesto or their agenda? You see, we have to investigate properly because all these things that happen in Nigeria, I just sit down and start asking myself, our young boys and young girls, the youth, what is their problem? You went to school, you passed through school, or school passed through you. If you pass through school, you cannot see that somebody will just come and head you and push you. Now look at, just as in the security with that one that was in sickness, that saw that man that was stabbing one, he just fired them. In the security agents that time in Oyo, we saw that startup of the band that was in that similar. They could have wasted their life, man. Now, at the end of the day, who is losing? It's not their parents and their guardians that send them to school to be useful in future that will be society. So that is why government should sit down and find out what are the causes of all these things. I don't like to go to the symptoms. Yes, they should investigate it properly and they must do it. Even was it 2 days ago, I was back when one of my middle best friends was saying that they saw that the boys from Southeast send them to Israel over 1,000. They should government should allow 1,000 to go and help Israel and fight. I was laughing. I said, why am I laughing? I said, you are in your country. If you have not settled yourself, you are going to Israel. Are you more educated or more equipped that Israeli people that you are going to help them? So Israel is supposed to come here and help you and fight, not for you to go to say you are going to Israel. Everybody started laughing. You can't see young boys from East, you want to go to Israel to fight me. You that is, you have not settled that to look for something good for your own future. Please, I'm not calling on Nigerian youth, please. Don't allow anybody to use you as a weapon of mass destruction for your country, for your community, for your local government, for your state. At the end of the day, it is you who will suffer. Now, don't look at if those who are succeeded using those explosives they wanted to create mayhem. You know where the Oyo could have been by now? It will create another problem, the innocent souls who were just sitting down to relax that all those things started happening. But I'm warning all those boys and all those whosoever that is sponsoring them. Government should go to the root cause and know who are sponsoring the sponsors. Because the area we do is better for us. Because we cannot sit down in the country because people are well fed or they didn't see what they want. It's going to create problem upon problem for Nigeria. We will not tolerate that rubbish. We will not tolerate that nonsense for anybody in this country. Good morning, sir. Good morning, Nigeria. Mazio Krabo from
Thank you very much, Mazio Okorafor. In fact, the person who was calling in talking about clemency or whatever. Clemency. First of all, the police need to be commended, how they handled that whole thing. It could have gone very, very badly wrong because you were confronting, those whose job it is to uphold the law with an abomination. What are these arms?
But there's no also report that they were ready to confront the police.
But okay,
so they maybe because
what were they carrying all those ammunition for?
It's part of ammunition. Maybe because if you analyze it very well and subject to risk, you know that they are not a threat to either police with what they have.
They're not a threat to the police. Were those live ammunitions we saw there?
Yes, that is the question. That how did they get it? That's why the intelligence has to come in.
And also the uniforms they are wearing, which can be quite confusing to the ordinary member of the public.
Yes.
Yes, you professionals will know instantly what is looking fake.
But the way they are dressed, the way you know that these are people that have been, maybe a different story was told to them. Maybe a different story was sold to them about what they are going to do. And all of that. There are so many idle hands because of what we have in our country. So a lot of story can be sold to them and they can just be manipulated. Because definitely with what they have and the way they have gone about it, they are not a threat to our military. Or
they are not. Police. They are not. And it's unfortunate, even though Mazio Okorafor was talking about young men, I think there was one 75-year-old in there.
With the daughter.
You see. Alaji Subaya calling in from... Is it Ali Mosho? Good morning to you, sir.
Hello, Mr. John.
Good morning, Alaji. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Mr. Yori.
Good morning.
Hello.
We can hear you, sir. We can hear you. Carry on, please.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think the issue of the agitators of Yoruba nation, I think those boys are acting on ignorance. And in fact, it's so disappointing. At this time when Nigeria is seeking for peace, at this time where we are expecting a law from the current government, somebody will not come up and say, demanding for Yoruba nation. It's so barbaric. I think those people, despite their own, to me, I regard them as fanatics. And there's a procedure for doing things. I heard it from one of them, they say that they have gone to United Nations, they have gone to... If your request is genuine, there's a procedure for doing things. Nigeria is not a banana republic. You understand? So I expect the government to do the needful and go to the root of the issue. This is the time Nigerians want peace, and we want peace for the current government that is sick. We don't want any division. We want Nigeria to be progressive. You understand? So I think they should go, the government should go to the root of the issue, and they are acting on on their own. They are barbaric and they are fanatics, and they should be decisively. Have a nice day, Yori.
Thank you very much for calling in. Most people are outraged, especially those who are genuinely pursuing the quest of a Yoruba nation. It's not going to be an overnight affair, if at all. And you have said it repeatedly. There are processes and procedures in a democratic society. Let's hear about it. Yes. I think the good professor you were speaking about earlier, yes. Who was that?
Banji Akintoye.
Exactly. He has been speaking.
Senator?
Yes, he has been speaking about the matter. Yes. They say they've gone to the United Nations. Yeah, let them continue. Let all of those continue in open, in a legitimate and legal manner. Yes. Nobody will do anything because they're exercising their right to freedom of expression. But when we got to where and it is very unfortunate that the news report said that there was a 75-year-old among them and his daughter. You could see that people tend to think of these things as the purview of the youth. But not, yes, there were many of them there that were, they can be called youthful, but there were also some people
but I was listening to an analysis yesterday over this, and I think retired police commissioner in Lagos, Fatai Owusheni, was saying that some of them, they might need to subject to psychiatric examination.
They just need to be.
Because you just know that maybe some kind of story was sold to them, that if you go there, if you do this, you'll be able to get a job. Those who are you have been out of job, you don't have anything doing, why not come? When you join, when we do this, when we get this, we'll give you this. So that's why I said until the police come out with the full investigation, we will not be able to say this is what happened. But clearly, with what we have seen, and for anyone who has a mind of, who has this knowledge about, you will know that it's not a threat. What they have.
Well, indeed.
It's not a threat. And that's why it was put down immediately. Before it could even cause any damage at all.
They seem to have maybe one little speck of an idea because they headed for, the secretariat. They didn't go and set up in some bush somewhere and begin to wreak havoc all over the place. So they were all in one place, and then the whole thing was contained. And even if they have other cells or whatever, those ones would have seen what has happened now and would have hidden all their paraphernalia, not wanting to be associated with such a movement. Well, we're going to have to leave it here. I want to thank you very much, Dr. Olorunoda, for coming on the program. Thank you, Dr. Olorunoda, security consultant and CEO of SSV Protection Services Limited. We're going to have to leave it here. Do please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Yori Folare. Bye-bye for now.